Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to Fandom Frequency. It's your boy Kenny, joined by my co-pilots, my partners in crime, man. My main man Skippy and Miguel, man.
What's up, guys?
What?
What's up, guys? Hopefully, you guys are doing good.
What up, everybody? Let's get it going, man. Let's get it going.
Yeah, man. We're here. You saw the thumbnail, like everybody else that saw this episode. We're bringing you the long anticipated episode 6, the finale of Loki season 1, man. And it's been one hell of a ride, guys. I mean, I almost am sad that it's over. But with no further ado, before we break down the episode in greater detail and really get into all those spoilers, spoiler alerts in the title.
That's
Don't be
right.
stupid.
Don't forget.
But yeah, so before we get into the nitty gritty and start speculating and getting all sweaty over here, what are your guys' overall thoughts on the finale?
What you want to start off, Miguel? Or...
I'll let you go first, Ken. Sorry, Skips. Go ahead.
No worries, no worries. Overall, Loki series was pretty. It was a fun series. I loved the whole journey of the whole thing. Right. I mean, it's pretty dope where we were able to see the multiverse kind of get kicked off with everything going on. From the very end and from the very beginning, we finally know what the 2012 Loki is going to be going through. Because that was my main question. Like, when I seen it popping up for the Loki series, like overall of him being the 2012 Loki, I didn't know what they were going to plan on doing with that character.
That's right. I feel like people might forget that sometimes. That's not the original Loki that we are used to from
Nope.
the MCU.
That's not the 616 Loki for all my comic nerds out there. But yeah, man, with our variant boy Loki. But yeah, man, I mean, if you're finished with your initial overall thoughts of the finale.
I thought it was a great episode. I really liked the beginning of it. How it had little snippets of many quotes from many movies. It was a nice little flashback thinking about
with
that.
the Neil Armstrong and all the MCU movies.
You had all those like the traveling through space and all the colors and all the scenes going fast. That was like I really like that kind of stuff. And aside from that, the new I guess villain introduced, Kang the Conqueror. He's pretty cool.
Baby.
Yeah,
we
man.
called it, bro.
We've been breaking it down from the beginning. Yeah, Kang.
Yeah, I call that his endgame too. When the second they time traveled, yep, that was him.
Yeah.
I told you, man. There's been so many teases and all this stuff for it. You know what I mean? When it comes to what do we got? Fucking the Kang on the side of the Avengers looking tower in Loki episode 5, obviously. And then you had all these different things with the timekeepers being multiple versions of different people. Kang has multiple versions of himself running around through the timeline, a la Rick and Morty or whatever the fuck. And then Ravonna Renslayer in the comics is related to Kang in that they're in a relationship with each other and she's his love interest and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
So I already saw it coming, man. I just didn't know exactly how it was going to go down. Were we going to see the classic comic book version of him, which we haven't yet, but I feel like that's more for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was dope, bro.
You think we'll ever see him in his like suit, like his big purple helmet thing and his like
I think we'll see some similar variation to it because we've gotten the
Loki
Scarlet
horse.
Witch what would you call that?
Crown?
Headpiece? Crown?
Oh, the crown for Scarlet Witch. Yeah.
Tiara,
Something
whatever.
like that.
But you got the straight comic book accurate thing right there. You got comic book accurate Vision in the Halloween costume episode. And then you also have Loki with the horns.
Yeah.
We've seen that. Dude, Old Man Loki is 1962 Avengers Journey to Mystery Introduction to Loki. He's just straight up out of the comics. So I think we will see it, just not verbatim, but really, really close. Like 90% of the way, for sure.
I think with the King, if they were going to make any changes, I think it'll be for sure like an armor type of situation. I don't think they're gonna have like the big helmet per se.
Exactly.
But I think it'll be more of like a modern armor suit, kind of like, I wouldn't really say kind of like Iron Man's, because technically Kang, he's kind of like all the way into the future. I feel like it might be hopefully modernized and would probably be cool looking, because I think him with the big helmet, I think it'll be kind of,
because you know, like Thanos in Infinity War, that's very close. You know what I'm saying, to that classic Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet storyline stuff in the comics. So I think they're definitely gonna hit that look, but we're not gonna see it for a while because the Kang we got in this episode is very close to the design of Immortus, who I'll get into a little bit later. But just so we can wrap up our initial thoughts, so we can get all super nerdy about this thing, I love the finale of this show, and I really think this show overall has been so fucking well done, dude. This stuck the landing. It hit the middle. It was great in the beginning. I like this definitely better than WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So there's a spoiler right there if we ever rank these things. That's my number one by far so far. I think all the characters are really well done. There's just a couple that were lacking a bit when we get more into the negatives. But overall, Loki's arc was so unexpected and so different. And at first, when they said they were going to do a show after he died, I was like, what's the point of his death then?
Yeah, that was my initial thought too.
Yep. This is totally, it builds out the world, and it builds out new characters that are like some of my favorites now. Like Mobius is way up there as one of my favorite introduced characters. I like him more than Captain Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that goes right there and shows just how well done this show is. All the time travel makes a lot of sense. You can track everything and the whole mystery and how it ties in and all that good stuff. And there's so many theories and ways you can go with the show. But at the same time, they give you a lot of conclusive answers to what's going on, especially in the finale. You know who's behind the TVA. You know what it's all about. We know there's a multiverse. We know why the multiversal war happened, when it happened, and who it included. So I like how they wrapped up everything, but left us on that fucking Planet of the Apes cliffhanger that Kang is in control and the TVA knows it, but they don't know our boy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I loved it. I absolutely loved the episode. I would say episode 4 was my favorite, but the finale was great.
Overall, episode 4. That
was the one where they found out the timekeepers were fake, and Sylvie and Loki got brought in after they escaped from Lamentus and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like 4, 5, and 2 are my favorites.
4, 5, and 2. I would say, if I had to rank them, I would say for sure the 4th one is up there. The 2nd episode I did kind of like a little bit more.
Yeah, when they go to Pompeii and all that, bro. And he discovers how that Sylvie's been getting away from the TVA and all that. And just the reveal of her bombing the timeline. Like, we were losing our minds, bro.
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic.
I think number 5 is my favorite one.
Number 5 is your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The variant episode, you kind of say.
Yes.
The Void.
I also like number 6 a lot, too. Almost as much as number 5. And
really?
And the rest are the same equal as number 2.
See, I thought 6 might kind of bore you a bit with all the talking.
No. It was pretty cool.
I feel you.
Maybe that's why I fell asleep that first time. But when I watched it, the second time, honestly, I paid attention really well. I mean, really good, and everything was like, whoa, this is some good stuff right here. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, shit, man. So just breaking down the episode from where we begun, man, just going kind of chronologically, so to speak, so we can break this down. We start off right there at the Citadel at the end of time, and Sylvie and Loki are about to go in there and figure out what the hell's going on. And Sylvie's kind of nervous, and Loki's like, what's the problem? Let's go. And she's like, shut up. I've been waiting all my life to kill these fuckers and figure out what's going on with this damn TVA. And then once they get inside, Miss Minutes over here watching a Blumhouse movie doing a jump scare. She's all like, hi, y'all.
That's like straight up when that jump scare that came out of nowhere. It straight came out of nowhere for that one. That's why I was like, holy shit. That was like right off the ball.
I was like, shit. Where did this bitch come from?
But like I kind of speculated, I think she was behind it the whole time. She had access to the whole thing for the TV.
What do you think she is? An AI, a person, or a Kang?
I think I would have to say AI. I can't really see her maybe as a King at all. I see her as like a...
I think she's a 31st century of Jarvis and used to be a person that he turned into an AI.
Oh, that's a great speculation, honestly, because that could be like the modern version, I guess, for the Iron Man on their timeline.
Friday and Jarvis and stuff like that, because Jarvis has become a person or a being, so to speak, and then Ultron kind of going from Tony Stark's personality if he went full villain status.
Yeah, yeah, that's I actually like that theory a lot. It ended up being
Yeah,
like the whole, I guess, Jarvis of that time for that time and everything like that.
that's what I've thought about in the several days since the episode. Now that's kind of my theory right now, but I have no idea.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, and then she's all like, "Hey, y'all, would you like to have everything you ever wanted? You weirdos can even stay together with each other on the timeline." And they're like, "How the fuck can you do that?" And she's like, "It's crazy, but it could be done." And I'm like, "What the fuck? Why are you taking people and shit for Nexus events if you motherfuckers do whatever you want with the timeline?"
Yeah,
That's why I don't buy everything that He Who Remains was talking about later. And that's who she name drops right there. He Who Remains is the guy behind all this shit. And they're like, who is that? And then they keep going forward after she disappears to go talk to Ravonna and get those files she wanted, even though it wasn't the files that she wanted. And we still don't know what files she got for Ravonna when she was looking for the origins of the TVA and trying to get all that information. And then Loki and them end up seeing none other than He Who Remains, Jonathan Majors, Kang, in the elevator, looking all weird and Wizard of Oz and shit. But
hmm,
yeah, man.
You
So
know what though? They haven't name dropped Kang, like just that name, that word itself. You know.
nope, they
at
haven't.
all.
But
It's
we know
just
he's coming, bro. He's in Ant-Man 3, bro. We know he's coming. That dude is playing him. He just didn't name drop it, but he did say, "I've been called many names."
and the Conqueror was one of them,
Yep.
and I forgot there was the
There's a
two other
lot of
names.
different what's the term? Aliases and identities that he's taken on throughout the different timelines. Kang the Conqueror, Immortus. He Who Remains was a separate character in the comics, but they kind of melded him and Immortus together. Because Immortus is one of the most powerful versions of Kang, but he actually isn't as evil
Hmm.
and shit like that. He's not really trying to rule people overtly. He just wants the timeline to stay in a way he sees fit where he controls it but doesn't let his other variants get in control of it. He also has a version of himself from the past in Egypt called Ramatut that actually has ties to Apocalypse and shit like that. So he's all over the place. Iron Lad, Young Avengers, that's a version of him that doesn't want to become the Conqueror version. So we can see Jonathan Majors literally play 10 different versions of this thing, depending how deep and crazy they go with it. It could be like James McAvoy in Split, but with Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's gonna be
That's what it
crazy.
is.
That's gonna be crazy, man.
I
Oh,
want to see him on the screen with the other Kangs at the same time. You know what I mean?
that'd be cool. We'll be seeing that in nearby
But
future, hopefully.
yeah, we can go see it too soon, unless What If is really bonkers. But and then from there, Ravonna Renslayer is over there at the TVA with Sylvie, and she's all, "Oh yeah, you're gonna give me the information I want to know." And she's like, "Oh, I want to know who's behind it too. I'll work with you." And then the whole time she's delaying her and shit. And then oh no, I'm mixing up episode 5. So
Mhm.
after they've been delayed and all that stuff, she's trying to get information on the timekeepers, but she can't get any. So she goes to talk to Agent B-15 actually, and
Mhm.
she's acting like she's doubling down on the TVA stuff, but really she's just fishing for information to try to get out of B-15. And she's like, "Dude, what are you talking about? We got to keep this going. They're not real. We're variants. Don't you get it? Like, get
Yeah,
with the program. You know what I'm saying?"
yeah. I was so like when she visited her, I was like kind of caught by surprise because I would have thought they would have like
Team
gone
up.
yeah team up or something like that because both of them are looking for the same answers, right?
Exactly. But she's not looking for the same answers that B-15 and Mobius and all the Lokis are doing. She doesn't want to bring down the TVA. She wants to double down and just know the truth because she's devoted her whole life to it, bro. Like, she's full on cult member.
Yeah,
She's all in no matter what.
she drank the Kool Aid.
She drank the
Drink the
Kool Aid.
Kool
She
Aid.
drunk off that shit. You know what I'm saying? But and then going on from there, B-15 is like, "Man, you just want answers like the rest of us, yo." And then we jump back over to the
Loki.
big reveal, He Who Remains, and he starts going into his big speech about he knows everything that's about to happen and he knows everything that they're gonna do, and he led their entire path to him all the way from Lamentus, the Void, all of that. He paved the road, as he said. They just walked down it, and they don't believe him, especially Sylvie. She really doesn't believe him. But after he uses his device to get away just in time and starts really explaining that he knows everything they're going to say before they say it and all these different things, our boy Loki starts to kind of believe him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe I should listen to what this crazy ass dude's got to say. But Sylvie ain't having it, bruh.
Yeah, she was just straight up ignoring the signs, and then Loki already knows that if he's telling the truth or he's lying, and he truly believes that he's the person that he's saying
he knows there has to be truth in some of the shit that he's saying, which I agree with. It's not all the truth, that's for sure.
It's like partial.
Some of it.
Yeah.
Because he's a big liar himself. He knows there's always a little bit of a truth in a lie.
Yeah,
right?
They just stretched it out. Yeah, it's yeah, with all that going on with He Who Remains, he was I wonder what else he's kind of holding back, because when he was talking to both of them, I kind of feel like he's kind of pulling back some information with the actual truth of what's going to be going on in the nearby future.
Mm-hmm. That he only knows what's going to happen to a certain point. Mm-hmm. He knows everything, bro.
He
knows everything. He Who Remains. In the comics, man, he is the last living being in the universe. He's seen everything. How would he not know what happens to a certain point if they're already at the end of time?
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I think there's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be interesting to see what he's gonna do, because he played it off way too calm, right? He played it off way too calm.
Yeah, that was a problem about him. He just seemed too relaxed, too chill. If that makes sense.
Yeah, too chill. It's because it's all part of the plan.
He was too understated, or he should have been more interesting or entertaining, like the performance.
I feel like he should have been more menacing, more like a threat. Like you feel like he could do something, because this guy reminded me kind of a hippie. Like he's talking, but I'm just like, I'm not believing it.
I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, the way that he was averting their movements and just the way that he, after watching it the second time together, when we were watching it the other night, I really noticed that he was literally saying things they were about to do when he was explaining things. He literally said, you can either stab me in the chest, like Sylvie ends up doing, or you can do this. To me, it's a much more different approach to Thanos, because Thanos is a much more brute force, in-your-face kind of threat, that classic kind of imposing villain, right? This, to me, feels like something different. And like I said, I don't think he's the big bad in true form to the comics. I think Kang the Conqueror, like the one we know of, that version is going to be more of that.
Okay.
I don't think this version is.
I get what you're saying. And that's what's actually saving me from saying, oh, you know what? This is going to be a bad villain. Because in the future, if he pulls out something big and then he ends up being super menacing and I'm like, oh shit, this guy's a badass. Okay. I take back everything, because comics, like you said, he has different variants, just like Loki does in the 5th episode, where a ton of them came out.
And they're all different. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Sylvie and Loki and Old Man Loki.
There's Loki with some bike handlebars as horns. Come on, that's funny,
you know. Like hobos. And
yeah,
shit.
So that could be a hobo of King the Conqueror, per se.
Exactly.
You know? I get what you're saying.
And Immortus is supposed to be an eccentric, good guy.
Yeah.
Kind of in the middle, a tweener, if you will.
Okay.
All my wrestling fans know what's up with that. But yeah, man, and going from there, Ravonna and Mobius end up having a standoff, because she's gathering a bunch of files, about to go take off to figure out who is behind all this shit. And then Mobius turns up and says, "Hey, it's me, bitch." And he's like, "How could you do this to me? How could you turn your back on me? How could you betray me? How could you leave me down like that?" You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy. Yeah, man. And then she pretty much kicks the shit out of Mobius real quick. And then after that, he's like, "So where the hell are you going? Are you going to kill me or what?" And she's like, "Nah, I'm in search of free will." Opens up a time portal, and she's out of there, man. So my question to you guys, what does she mean by that?
It can mean a lot of possibilities with that, because my main question too was, when she walked through it, I wanted to know where exactly is she going to, because Miss Minutes could easily put her could give her any information that we don't know about. Maybe it's something related to, maybe she'll be able to understand what's fully going on,
and we might see her in the next season or something like that. Maybe she gets like full knowledge of everything and all this other jazz about her. A lot of stuff could happen with her going off. That's what's a great cliffhanger with her. I mean,
what's your theory, my man?
I don't know, dude. I just like how they left it in a cliffhanger for sure.
Yeah, like they have like a nice plot point to go through and a nice thread from season 1 to season 2 that you can look forward to.
Like, yes, I'm really hoping she comes back like powerful or something.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
with some sick knowledge, or maybe she executes the plan where she meets up with Kang and like they get the relationship together, and now she's also
that's
in
what
the
I'm thinking, man.
she's also in the hunt for Loki for fucking up the TVA.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that being a huge possibility.
Okay,
that's
so
a
actually,
huge
I guess
one.
that's my theory.
That's it.
I don't know.
I would say that's a pretty good solid theory.
Yeah.
That's like that can actually pretty much happen. I mean, we already know their love interest already as it is, so it does set up for the season 2. Her being like the main villain, she ends up being more badass in the first season.
So you think she'll jump in the movies too? Because Kang the Conqueror has to come out. Well, he is right for Ant-Man. He's gonna come out in
Kang
the
the
movies.
Conqueror is confirmed for Quantumania. And let's see. He could pop into Doctor Strange. Obviously, Loki season 2. And I don't think No Way Home or anything like that. And then if Fantastic Four goes down in Phase 4 or beginning of Phase 5, whatever, that's probably the next thing. But I think before Ant-Man, we're going to get him in either Doc Strange 2 or Loki season 2 is going to be the next thing.
True. I think she might pop up in movies. I would say like probably later on down the line.
Yeah,
as
Doc
a possible
Strange post-credit scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think yeah, it would. I would definitely love to see her. I mean, on the big screen too. I mean, Kevin Feige did mention that there's a lot of TV characters that we'll see from whatever show they're going to origin in into the movies itself to blend it in, kind of back and forth and stuff like that.
Definitely,
so
man.
It will be awesome. It will be awesome to see in the future for sure. But what happened after that one? Oh yeah, we cut back to the main room with the 2 Lokis and Kang himself. I mean, at that point, Kang at this point is already starting to reveal his origin story and everything, right?
Yep.
He's already pretty much saying he's in the future. He's
from the 31st century.
31st, big 3-1. And that's when he explains that he's actually able to discover multi-dimensions that was stacked on top of each other and everything, right?
Yep, he discovered the multiverse, man. Nathaniel Richards type shit.
Nathaniel Richards. And now at this point, he's explaining his basic concept, saying like he's at this point the variants were actually able to aid each other and everything so forth to help progress their universe, or their technically Earth's society, up to a higher standard and stuff like that. And he was also mentioning too that there was also bad variants who was just all for war. They seen it like they want to conquer other multiverses and everything so forth. So that's when he's all mentioning as well, when he was trying to kind of introducing himself, that they name him many names, which is the Conqueror for one of them.
Kang right there,
Kang,
boy.
yeah. I mean that's a dead giveaway that it is Kang. I mean from the very beginning when we very first see him in the elevator, because he didn't really go out and saying, "Oh, my name's Kang," and everything like that.
Nope. He just said they refer to me by many names.
Mm-hmm.
Conqueror.
What
was the other one?
He was I'm trying to remember that one too. The main one that got to me was the Conqueror, because that was like, yep, that's him. That's Kang the Conqueror right there.
This is him, man. This is him in the flesh, in your face. But yeah, man. But let me see, man. I mean, my theory for where Ravonna went, she went through a portal and met the version of Kang that we saw at the end of the episode. You know what I'm saying?
It makes sense.
True evil version, Kang the Conqueror for Ant-Man 3, Kang the Conqueror variant right there. Like, I think she's going to go meet up with that variant, not the one that we saw, because he just got killed, obviously, while the branch timelines were created and all that stuff, like we're about to get into in a sec. But yeah, man, I think she went to go talk to the Kang the Conqueror we all know and love from the comic books, man. And that's going to all tie into season 2, and she's going to know what's going on. he's obviously gonna know what's going on, but no one knows who Loki is and shit like that. And that leads us to the big confrontation with the Lokis because Sylvie does not trust He Who Remains at all, and she's like, "Fuck this! I don't give a shit about trying to rule the TVA. You just want a throne, Loki. We got to take this fool out." And he's like, "Hey, man, it's up to you. It's up to both of you Lokis. Either you can stab me in the chest, verbatim, like she does later, or you two can take over." And she's like, "Nah, bruh, fuck that." And then Loki's all trying to be all sweet and sentimental, and he's like, "I just want you to be okay. Come on." He's over here trying to, make a shot, shoot his shot, and fucking and then she's like, "Oh yes," and then she kisses him and all this shit, and I'm like, "Damn, what?"
This is right
He's
off
kissing himself. Is she actually gonna team up with him right now? Are they actually gonna take over the TVA? Is that what season 2 is?
Yeah.
Loki's rule the timeline? Nah, son. Peace out. I'm not you. And throws him through a time portal using Kang's device that reminds me a lot of Iron Man's device from Endgame.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Very identical for sure.
He uses tech from all different points in the timeline.
That is true. Yeah.
Who else would he use except Tony Stark and Reed Richards?
So in that point, where do you think she sent him? Like what? Like she was just some random
Sylvie?
timeline. Yeah.
With Sylvie sending him through that portal, we didn't realize this in real time at that point, but I think she sent him to an alternate timeline since the branch timelines were already created. And then, once she killed Kang, all the different multiple variants of Kang have been unleashed. But he was already in a timeline, which is the timeline we're getting teased about, where this Kang is the ruler.
Mm-hmm.
But she's created all these branch timelines that are going to be explored for the first time in What If. So pretty much treat all those branches that we saw as that, or X-Men possibilities, or all this other shit we haven't seen yet, right? Mm-hmm. And then the timeline he got thrown into, which is one of the branches, is the timeline that we're going to be picking up with in season 2. You know what I'm saying?
No, that totally makes sense.
Our timeline is still there. We just don't know exactly because it got all those branches and shit. But I don't think Loki's in our timeline anymore. I think he got sent to an alternate one.
Like a different one, just a random one.
Sylvie's still in our timeline, sort of at the Citadel that it's at the end.
Yeah, I understand that part. That's the part.
But yeah, I think that's what it is.
I
think he's already in an alternate timeline that was created in the multiverse. Yeah, that's my guess.
That's like, no, that makes a lot of sense too, because that was my first thought. I'm like, I thought it was like Planet of the Apes, like the moment like they tossed them out to the original timeline where they came from.
Changed butterfly effect status.
Yeah,
is that
something
what really
like
happens
that.
in Planet of the Apes? I've never seen that.
In the remake, Tim Burton, Mark Wahlberg time travels.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, he's the star of the movie, and he time travels through a wormhole in space. And ends up going to the future, I believe, or is it back to the present?
I believe it was back to the present.
Yeah,
I believe
he got sent to the future where apes were ruling over everything, and then he went back to the past, right? Mm-hmm. Back to the wormhole. But when he got back to the present in his timeline, Abe Lincoln was an ape at the Washington Memorial. They have of him in that chair. Apes are ruling already in the past, so the timeline retroactively got butterfly affected and changed, a la Back to the Future 2 and stuff like that. Have you seen Back to the Future 2?
No.
Oh.
Future retro review, y'all.
Oh man, Miguel.
Yeah. But anyways, just keeping on track here.
Let's go.
But yeah, so I think he's in a whole alternate timeline, man. And this is gonna be some crazy shit for season 2 because Loki's got to figure out what timeline is he in, and if he is in our timeline, then it's been drastically changed. Maybe.
I think it could have been drastically changed because pretty much with time itself, when it comes to Kang, it's like he can blend into anything he wants. So within that millisecond, he could change so many things from the moment he was in that room with the I guess the Keeper King or whatever his name was, to the point where he remains to when, like, within that split second, he could have easily morphed it in. Like easily could have been more blended in, like after, like, you know, once all the kings were being unleashed and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible, yo. I'm not sure 100%. It's kind of hard to tell, obviously, but yeah, that's my theory. I'm going with alternate timeline, that's for sure. And one thing I was wondering as well, Do you think the TVA exists in the pocket dimension or the quantum realm?
Pocket dimension.
I believe pocket dimension. I think. I would
Yeah, I
say
think pocket dimension too.
because I can't really see it in the quantum realm. It could be a possibility for sure. Maybe within maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp's new upcoming movie. Maybe they can probably
Tie
explore it a
that
little
all
bit
in.
more. Yeah, yeah,
Because
possibility.
the only reason why I brought that up, and that was kind of a theory of mine, was because you do see a little city that does kind of resemble the TVA place. Because you see like a little futuristic city in Ant-Man
Oh,
and the Wasp in the
that
background.
that's totally true. There's a lot of theories about that from
Yeah,
Fantastic Four. Now it could be the TVA too as another
like
possibility.
I'm thinking it's TVA. Like that's me personally. Fantastic Four is actually an interesting one as well. I actually never put that together, so I
They,
like that.
they could.
But yeah, man. But Loki season 2, bro, it's gonna be insanity. But if you had to say, what's your big bold prediction for season 2? Are we gonna see variants of other characters like Thor, anything like that? What do you think is gonna be the big surprising element of season 2 that we haven't discussed so far?
I think for sure. I would say like the one that would be kind of big for me will be the variants of different Marvel characters because
Definitely.
it
Other than what if, like in live action, you know what I'm
hmm
saying?
it'll be like it won't be the original actors for like for sure, but it will definitely be just different actors playing the roles of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that a little bit more with the new season. And
Mm-hmm.
also to see what Sylvie is going to be doing on her portion of everything, because she technically has that little that hand like device thing that King has. So we don't
Yeah,
really know what she could be doing with all that stuff too, because that's like a lot of power, a
that's true,
lot of
man.
power that
That's
she has in
true.
her hands. So I would say it would be mainly those two, and then obviously to see which King Loki's gonna be dealing with, and also what's gonna be the plot moving forward. Is he able to go back to the original timeline he was at with
Right,
Morbius and
right.
everybody? Because we don't really know too much about it
Nope.
off of that cliffhanger.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be quite crazy, bro. So, what's your big, bold predictions that we haven't talked about so far for season 2? What do you got? What do you got?
Season 2. Well, I forgot her name, but the judge,
Ravonna Renslayer? Yeah,
Ravana.
yeah.
Sounds like Nirvana. Right, Ravana is gonna come back for sure. I'm hoping she's one of the biggest villains, or if not, like sub villains.
Yeah.
But I feel like for season 2, Kang shouldn't be like in the picture no more. It should be someone else, because I feel like that's who the focus is gonna be for the rest of the remaining future.
For Phase 4, yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
Hmm.
Maybe
I like where your head's going.
yeah, it doesn't definitely have to be King. It can be
Yeah.
it can be what's her face with
Like she
the whole
meets someone
thing.
else or something.
Yeah, she probably runs into somebody completely different from King, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it'll be awesome to see something, maybe a little twist, but she can.
Doctor Doom! Let's
Doctor,
go.
imagine.
What? Nah.
Doctor June showing
Skinny
up.
Doctor Doom.
Man, that's like an S tier villain right
I
there.
know. I'm just trying to like shove him into anything I can. I just want it already.
Oh God,
I just
no,
want a good Doctor Doom, man.
dude. We're gonna get him this upcoming saga for
I
sure.
hope so.
Like
Yeah.
he's gonna be redeemed, but I don't know. What do you think, Kenny? What's going to be your overall thought process with this season 2?
My big bold prediction is that Loki season 2 is gonna take place possibly concurrently with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Loki might not be a main character throughout the movie, but he may play a cameo that goes kind of at the same time, like Doctor Strange did in Thor Ragnarok and stuff like that, and how they had them crossing over and him doing different stuff. So they could tie it in that way. And I also think in Loki season 2, we are going to see variants of other Marvel characters. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be Thor. I think we're going to actually see a variant of Thor
Mm-hmm.
because I think we got to get more of that emotional storyline for Loki and bringing that back around. And also, I think Sylvie could possibly become the villain as well.
She can definitely easily be the villain. Yeah, yeah, because
Mm.
she obviously like our Loki 2012 obviously felt betrayed and everything like that, right? He was
True. True.
he put out his heart out there for her, then he ended up simping for her just too much, got pushed through that, caught off guard. He was completely caught off guard with the whole thing. Yep. So, yeah, she can easily be the villain for the whole, also part of season 2. She'll probably be one of the villains on there. We'll just have to wait and see for the sneak peeks, maybe, hopefully the trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a while before we get that announcement for season 2. I'm gonna guess we're not gonna get it till after Multiverse of Madness, but who the hell knows, man? But with no further ado, man, I want to let you people know out there, thank you for all the great support we've been getting lately. We've been getting a lot of new followers, some new subscribers here on the YouTube, and we've been getting some new podcast listeners as well, man. I know my boys here have been spreading the message, man, spreading the good word, getting that word of mouth out there, man. So anyone that's heard about us recently, continue that. Keep passing us along. Fandom frequency, it's everything, man. From music, comics, TV, manga, all that stuff, anime, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be branching out and doing a lot of dope things in the future, man. So please keep riding this train with us, man, because we're going nowhere but up. It's a roller coaster, baby. We ticking up slowly, and the drop ain't coming anytime soon, man. So before we sign off, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit the like button if you're watching us on the YouTube, man. It helps us out a lot. You get to connect with us and keep up with all the content, and we get to keep track of all the dope nerds that are just like us that want to keep in contact with us, man. And anything you want to let the people know before we get up out of here?
Yeah, thanks, you guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.
I would also say good night to everyone as well, and be safe. Have a great upcoming week, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Most definitely, man. Stay tuned. Don't sleep. Marvel's What If. The Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah.